What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Scoop Weekly Predictions. I'm Charlie Nidell. I'm here with Suraj Kadali and Dylan Shalom. We're without Cian McDermott this week, but the three of us are going to give you our best analysis of NFL Week 6 matchups. We've got some good ones on tap. I, myself, did very well in our predictions last week. I think I jumped out to a 5-game lead over both Suraj and Dylan. Our standings going into the Sunday night game, I believe I have 55 wins. Suraj and Dylan each have 50, and Cian is down there with 43. Let's get straight into the video. No more talk on
that. Going into the Thursday night matchup, we've got a good matchup, actually. I wouldn't say a great matchup, but we've got two teams coming off of very empowering wins. The Buccaneers going and smoking the Dolphins, and the Eagles going and upsetting the high-flying Panthers. What do you got, Charlie?
I think this one's a pretty easy one for me. While the Eagles did pick up a quality win against Sam Darnold and his Panthers, I think Darnold just did not have a good enough game. Maybe it was in part because of the Eagles' defense, but he made some really questionable throws, and I think the Buccaneers just look too good to be upset by this Eagles team right now. Suraj?
Yeah, I think the Bucs have to win this game. I mean, the Eagles looked slightly better against the Panthers, a really nice win, but the Bucs are just in a chair of their own. I just can't see them losing this week.
Yeah, this is a very tough one for the Bucs to lose. I couldn't see it going any other way. They have everything they need offensively, and defensively they looked lights out. So give me the Buccaneers. Moving into the next one, we've got our second international series matchup. Again, in London, we have the Miami Dolphins, who have been absolutely garbage for the last 4 weeks, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have been absolutely garbage for the last 20 weeks. What do you got, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm actually going to give this one to Jacksonville. I think the Dolphins just haven't looked good enough without Tua under center, and Jacksonville have looked progressively better and better, and that's because Trevor Lawrence has progressively looked better and better. And I think today the Jaguars were in a close one, and it was a tough loss. Sorry, it wasn't close at the end. The final score wasn't close. But Derrick Henry ate them alive, and I think that James Robinson has been playing better. Trevor Lawrence has been playing better. I just think right now the Jacksonville team is better than a Tua-less Miami Dolphins. What do you think, Suraj?
See, I'm going to disagree with you because I don't know if you have the full information, but I think Tua is actually expected to play against the Jaguars. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan.
Tua is eligible to play, not expected to play.
I saw that earlier.
I wouldn't think he'd play if he's coming back.
I'm making this prediction, one, based on the fact that I think Tua will play, and two, that I actually think that anyway, I think the Miami Dolphins are a better team than Jacksonville. More importantly, defensively, I think they're a better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Jacksonville are still way too inexperienced. Miami's offense, which has really been putrid the whole season, go against their easiest opponent yet in Jacksonville. I expect Myles Gaskin actually could have a really solid performance against a very poor Jacksonville run defense. I think, again, this is a tough matchup because I think it's between two very bad teams. But I would have to give it to Miami here. I just think they're more talented overall.
I'm also going to give it to my Miami Dolphins. I'm not sure whether or not Tua is going to play, but I'm going to give it to them regardless. And even though the defense has not looked good enough, they let up 45 points to the Buccaneers. However good they might be, that's not good enough for a defense who wants to be considered within top 10, even top 5. But I think they're still good enough to beat the Jaguars, who just, no matter how well they play, and they didn't play badly necessarily today, they just haven't been able to grind out results, and that's why I think Miami Dolphins are going to win it on Sunday morning. Going into the next one, though, we've got the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. A couple weeks ago, I would have considered this one very interesting. Right now, I have got a very clear-cut opinion on it. What do you got, though?
I actually think the Panthers are going to win this one. I don't know if that's your clear-cut opinion, but I think the Vikings, without Dalvin Cook, Madison has definitely stepped up. Madison, we talked about it earlier today, could be the starter. I think we established for 16 of the 32 NFL teams.
Yep.
Pretty incredible, and he's their backup. If Dalvin Cook is back, he will definitely add another element to their roster because he's the number one for a reason. But I think the Panthers are better. Sam Darnold had a bad week. It happens to the best of them. I'm not saying Darnold is the best of them, but Sam Darnold, he's going to have a rebound week. We didn't see anything from DJ Moore this week. nothing big at least. I think the Panthers are the better team right now.
I am going to go with the Vikings here. I think the Vikings defense has played very well the past few weeks, especially with the re-addition of Everson Griffin. Their defensive line has gotten into the quarterback very often. I feel like Sam Darnold, as my experience as a Jets fan, really has been one of those quarterbacks that kind of struggles under pressure. I don't know if he's going to really be able to hold it up against the D-line. I think Carolina's defense is still elite, one of the best defenses in the National Football League. That being said, I think Minnesota really have the receivers to combat that with Justin Jefferson, with Adam Thielen. I think, again, it depends obviously on, I don't know if Dalvin Cook will play next week, but I think Madison is at least a serviceable backup. I think he's, like you said, I think he's better than half the starting NFL running backs. But I think the Vikings I think they're a slightly better team. Wouldn't be surprised either way how this goes, but give me the Vikings here, in my opinion.
My clear-cut opinion is the Carolina Panthers. The Minnesota Vikings have not been able to put up points against some of the worst defenses in the league. Never mind offenses. Best defenses in the league. So if you're not going to be able to put up points against Detroit, which they couldn't today, I know they won, but you're not going to be able to put up good points against a solid Panthers defense. And the offense, while they're missing McCaffrey, has been able to produce either way. So give me the Panthers. Pretty clear cut for me. Moving into the next one, which I think is the game of the week, maybe. There's two potential game of the weeks. We'll get to the next one later. But we've got the Chargers, who just came off a very empowering win against the Browns, and the Ravens.
Yeah, Cian and I had this argument. I wish he was here now. We had a talk on our last predictions video. Cian said that Justin Herbert was going to suck against the Browns this week. And I countered that and said that Justin Herbert was going to throw for, I said at least 4 touchdowns, I believe. And I think he threw for 4 touchdowns. Justin Herbert was incredible. He's showing that he is everything that he was hyped up to be at the start of the season. A big win over the Browns. And I'm not going to go any other way. I'm going to keep their momentum rolling. I'm going to take the Chargers over the Ravens. We haven't seen what the Ravens are going to do. I think they're going to have a pretty easy time against the Colts tomorrow night. But there's not much that can stop Justin Herbert right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. I think this is a battle between two very, very good AFC teams. And I think it's a battle between two teams that I think will be in contention for, who knows, maybe even a trip to the Super Bowl in the future. But I think right now Los Angeles are a more complete team. Obviously, they didn't play extremely well on defense, but I think they'll improve next week. And their offense is just, in my opinion, too good. I think Herbert has obviously been fantastic. He's definitely at this moment an MVP candidate. I think Austin Eckler, he's played like Christian McCaffrey so far. He's been what a
3 or 4 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns this week. He's been what a great dual threat running back he's been for Herbert. What a great piece he's been this year. The duo of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in the receiving group is just, in my opinion, even for the Ravens secondary, too hard to combat. So I think the Chargers are just a better, more complete football team at this moment. So I think Los Angeles wins this.
Who would have thought that the Los Angeles Chargers are going to clean sweep the Ravens in a prediction video?
Not someone watching our videos. We know how much you love Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chargers are just so well built at this point offensively that defensively, as many flaws as they have, and they do have flaws, it doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to put up more points than them. So I think what they have going for them is they have an elite offensive line at this point, a great quarterback, an elite running back, and an elite wide receiver core. You can't beat that. So no matter how many points Lamar puts up, how many big plays Marquise Brown or Tyson Williams makes, I don't know what the hell's going on with their offense. But I think the Chargers are going to cruise. Give me the Chargers. Moving into the next one, we've got the Los Angeles Rams and the New York Giants, who are now offenseless. What do you got?
Okay, I won't dwell on it for long. I'm going to pick the Rams in this one. There's no debate behind it. The Giants are without Daniel Jones for next week due to a concussion. Saquon Barkley's ankle did not look good when he came off the field. Kenny Golladay to a knee problem. Not sure if he'll be healthy for next week. Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton both out to hamstring injuries. Not sure how they'll be next week either. Andrew Thomas was also out this week. Not sure if he'll be healthy next week. But it's just a team without an offense. And without Daniel Jones, Mike Glenn was not able to do anything against the Cowboys. It wasn't a close game. Give me the Rams in this one. It's not even close.
See, normally I would say that with all these variables, I would be so hard to predict a football game like this. But I think even with most of these players, the Rams are still a significantly better team than the
Yes.
Giants. But this kind of just seals the deal for me. I think Rams, you have to pick them here.
That is fair.
Yeah, the Rams are just a better football team all around, defensively, offensively. Give me the Rams. I don't really think I need to explain myself any more than I just did. They're better. It's pretty simple. Moving in to the next 1 o'clock matchup, we've got probably the worst one of I think the entire week. There's another one that can challenge, but we've got the Texans and the Colts. What do you got?
We don't know how the Colts are going to play tomorrow night against the Ravens, but I'd assume, as I said earlier, they're not going to win and it won't be close. I really like the way the Texans played this week. I think Davis Mills, while some of the throws he made for touchdowns were not exactly the best throws, they were under pressure throws. What impressed me is that their receivers came up really clutch to make those catches and run them all the way into the end zone. They did lose in a close one of the Patriots, but I'm going to ride that momentum. I think Davis Mills is going to lead the Texans to a win this week.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think the Colts will win this game. I think even though this is a battle between two bad teams, I think the Colts are a slightly better team with a better offensive line. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to gash this kind of poor Houston run defense, and I think the Colts should be able to win this given that they are a better football team, even though Houston are riding a almost win against a solid New England team. But I still think that Indianapolis is a better football team, and they should be able to win a game like this, even if they are underperforming so far.
First of all, New England are not a solid team at the moment. I don't think they have anything really. They don't really have anything going offensively, and they're solid on defense. But
yeah, that's what I meant.
You need two pieces to be good, a solid team, called a solid team. And I don't think the Patriots have that, but that's besides the point. I think the Colts are just a much better team than the Texans. And I know the Texans played with some heart. They battled hard against the Patriots. They can't grind out wins. The Colts have been able to do that historically. They did it against Miami the other week. We'll see them against the Ravens on Monday. I don't think they'll win, but I think they just have more talent defensively and offensively. So give me the Colts. Moving into the next one, we've got, I think, the best offense in football against what we would consider to be a top defense before the season. They're not anymore. We've got the Chiefs and the Washington football team.
Yeah, before the season, I probably would have said that this could be an upsettable game when looking at the schedule. But right now, neither team is playing as well as they were expected to at the start of the season. But I think the Chiefs are playing better. They're playing the Bills right now as we speak, and it's 3-0 to the Chiefs. I think Washington just hasn't played well enough. They lost to a mediocre Saints team yet today, and I'm just going to give this one to the Chiefs. Let's not dwell on it.
I actually think that the Chiefs will win, obviously, but I think this is an upsettable game still. Not for the reasons that we would have thought at the start of the season. I think the Washington offense has enough weapons, especially against one of the worst defenses in the NFL in Kansas City, to make this a competitive game with Gibson, McLaurin, Heineke. They could potentially kind of push the Chiefs offense to the brink. That being said, I think Kansas City is just too talented for, again, a Washington team that isn't as good as Kansas City. But I think that it wouldn't be that crazy to put this game on upset alert, but still, give me the Chiefs.
I'm not convinced by the Washington football team, and I haven't been convinced by the Chiefs either, but the Chiefs have Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. The Washington football team do not have those three players. And I haven't really given any of you some in-depth analysis on any of these games, because I don't really feel like, other than probably the Chargers-Ravens game, I don't feel like any of them require them. It's pretty simple logic. The Chiefs are better than the Washington football team. The Chiefs will win. Moving into the next one, which I will have similar logic, we have the Packers and the Bears.
I actually forgot that I picked the Bears this week to win against the Raiders, and then I was looking back at my predictions. I was happily astonished that I had gotten all of the 4 o'clock games right, because I did not think I picked the Bears. I was really mad that the Bears were winning, actually. But I think that it's not going to be enough. The Packers team is just better. Give me the Packers.
I think the Packers will win too. That being said, I think the Bears, especially if they're playing Justin Fields, will have a chance in this game, because I think this defense, the Bears defense, is a solid team. Jalen Johnson. He's been really good as a cornerback number 1 for the Bears, and
Yeah.
he's going to face his toughest challenge yet, going against Devontae Adams. I think, again, if Justin Fields plays or Andy Dalton plays this week, I think it really determines how good of a chance. I think the Bears have a better chance with a more mobile quarterback that gives more dimension to the team, like a Justin Fields. Obviously, I would give the Bears even more chance to win with David Montgomery, but I think no matter what, I think the Packers will win this game, given that they are the superior team. But I think the Bears, I like how they've played so far. I like how they've rebounded after after the disastrous performance against Cleveland.
Yeah, the Packers are starting to feel their feet back. And I know they had a tough win against the Bengals, and it's not how they liked it to happen. But a win is a win. They move on. They play against a lackluster offense. I think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams can tear this team apart. I don't think, even with Jair Alexander on IR, their cornerbacks are very weak. I'll say that. But the routes that the Chicago Bears run are so limited that I don't think it matters. So I'm going to give this one to the Packers. Moving into the next one, we've got the Bengals and the Lions. This would usually be a very, very dull affair, and it still might be, but it's not my worst game of the week. What do you got?
Okay, hang on just a second. This one puts me in a weird spot because while I don't necessarily think this will be the game of the week, the Lions have lost to 2 game-winning field goals in a row, and the Bengals missed 3 field goals within the last 2 minutes of the game against the Packers.
Are you calling a tie right now?
I'm not going to do that because it's just too risky. But it puts me in a weird spot because if it is a 2 or a 1-point game in the Lions' favor, I don't know who to pick. Because I think the Lions will lose, but I also think that the Bengals will lose. There's no winner. But I'm going to have to go with the Bengals because I just think they have a better team, and they better pray it doesn't come down to a field goal. And the Lions should also pray it doesn't come down to a field goal. But let's move on. I've got the Bengals. Suraj, what do you got?
Yeah, I think the Bengals should win this game. I think their offense is just too good for the Lions' defense. And if it does go down to a field goal, might I add that Evan McPherson, even though he did not kick a game-winning field goal this game, he does have 2 game-winning field goals this year.
He also has 3 game-winning field goals that he missed.
I think it was only 2 actually that he missed.
I believe it was 3.
We'll have to look at that sometime.
Regardless, he's 50% or below, like Cian's predictions.
Ooh, that's not true, but cool.
Jeez.
Yeah, no.
Okay, back on though our predictions. I think the Bengals will win this game. They're too talented offensively for the Lions, and again, like Dylan says, a lot of these games require simple logic. I can't really say anything other than that.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are going to beat the Lions, and it pains me to say. I think most of the football community has fallen in love with Dan Campbell just as much as I have. Reading around Twitter, finally a head coach who shows some emotion. Finally a head coach who knows what he's doing. Pray that he stays in Detroit. I want Detroit to win because of this guy. I want to believe that I have a little piece in converting some more people to the Dan Campbell Church of Football. I know I don't, but either way, I'm giving this one to the Bengals. It will be hard fought because that's how they play, but they just can't win. It doesn't work out for them.
God hates Detroit. That's all I have to say.
God hates Detroit. But
well, it's not a great city.
Moving into the next one, and this, who would have thought this is the game of the week in like 2017, 2018? We've got the Arizona Cardinals and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns put up a lot of points this week, but it wasn't enough, and that's been the story of the teams that have played against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' offense is right now the most dynamic offense in the league, despite putting up just 17 points against the Niners. But their defense held strong. The Niners weren't able to put up any more than 17, and the Cardinals will win again this week. They right now have the current MVP front runner in Kyler Murray. We'll say it every week until he's no longer the current MVP front runner, and he's playing incredibly well right now. I think he's the front runner by a lot, and the Cardinals, if they have to put up points, are going to put up points.
I am going to go with the Browns this game. I think the
No.
Browns have a great two-dimensional offense, according to what you just said, Charlie, because I think they have two really good running backs that can kind of keep Kyler Murray in that offense off the field in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And they have a receiving core that isn't amazing, but it isn't bad either. I think Odell Beckham, you can do a lot worse than Odell Beckham, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Rashard Higgins.
Can you?
Yeah.
I think
Can
Odell
you
isn't.
really?
To be fair, Peoples-Jones had a solid season. I think Odell
Does he have
still
like
has
3
potential to be.
catches?
No, he has a lot more than 3 catches. But I think Odell, he's still, in my opinion, he still has potential to be a number 1 receiver. And I think Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. And more importantly, I think this defense will rebound. I think the Cardinals, they're good, but I don't think they're invincible. I think they can be stopped. And I think Cleveland can if they can get pressure on Kyler Murray, contain him in the pocket, and I think they have a good enough secondary to hold down Arizona's weapons. I think Cleveland could win this game, especially at home. I think this is going to be an important bounce back week for Cleveland. I think they will get it done and win this game.
I need to point out very quickly, I was not far off. Peoples-Jones has 9 catches this season.
For how many yards?
120.
It's not bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not good either.
Not good. No, for your second receiver, it's terrible. But
Yeah.
No,
maybe
but Dylan, let's get it. What do you got?
So what's going to decide this match is how well Arizona is able to handle Myles Garrett. And I don't think they're going to be able to handle him well enough to win this game. I think that the Arizona Cardinals right now are the best team in football. But I don't think they're going to be able to handle the rush that comes their way, and I don't think they're going to be able to pressure Baker Mayfield at a rate high enough to stop the offense that the Cleveland Browns run. So I think the Browns are going to win because Mayfield's going to have more time, and the run game is just going to be so difficult for Arizona to contain. So give me the Cleveland Browns. Moving into the next one, we've got America's team versus the Patriots. I guarantee you this will be nationally televised instead of Cardinals-Browns.
That's a bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off by that, but we'll get into it. Cowboys, Patriots, if you could not tell. You know what? I'm going to stop. The Cowboys are going to win this one, Suraj.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will win this game too. But I think the real question is, can Trayvon Diggs improve his streak of 5 consecutive games with a pick to 6? He's already set the Cowboys franchise record, and Mac Jones is not immune to turnovers. I think given the Patriots' weak offense, I think this could definitely happen. And I think the Cowboys just keep getting better every week, and I don't see why they wouldn't win again. I think they're a better team than New England, and yeah, give me the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be able to blow out any team that they play against just offensively. I think them and the Chargers right now, and the Bills have the most dynamic, the Chiefs obviously, have the best offenses in the league. And I think whoever the Cowboys go against, unless it has the best defense, which in my opinion is the Browns, they're going to be able to outscore them. So give me the Chiefs definitely against a lackluster Patriots team who are barely able to beat the Davis Mills-led Texans. Now, going into this next one, I think this is one of the most interesting games of the week. We've got the Raiders and the Broncos, both 3-2, both were 3-0.
Where is this game?
This game is being
Denver.
played in Denver.
Mile High. All right. For that reason, not that reason alone, I'm going to go with Denver on this one. I think Courtland Sutton has looked impressive. Jerry Jeudy should be back next week, so that'll just be a bit of a morale booster. I think Teddy Bridgewater's looked pretty impressive too. I don't like the way the Raiders have played the last couple weeks. Give me the Broncos on this one.
The battle of the pretenders, the team that we're kind of forced to talk about, given that they started off 3-0 and now both dropped 2 straight. And I think the Raiders have a much better offense, and I think have a better chance to actually make noise. That being said, I feel like Denver, this is a trap game for them. I don't think they usually can't win at Mile High. I don't think they're a good enough team to overcome kind of the difficulties of Denver's home field advantage. I think give me the Broncos here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one because the Broncos just came off a very, very disappointing loss, and I know the Raiders did as well. But I feel like that was a bit of a fluke on the part of the Raiders. I think that offense is much better than how they played, and they'll be able to do better with a much more potent run offense going into the next game with Jacobs getting full snaps. I don't believe that Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos will be able to recover from that loss to the Steelers because they've lost to a literal potato. So I'm going to go with the Raiders here, contrary to popular belief.
Speaking of that potato.
Speaking of that potato, we've got a battle where he is, again, the second best quarterback between him and Geno Smith's Seahawks. What do you got?
Oh, wow.
So this is the match between the man we like to refer to as the potato. For those of you who don't know, that's Big Ben Roethlisberger against both me and Suraj's worst nightmare. That's Geno Smith. And I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one because I do not think Geno Smith is good enough to win a single game all season without Russ. I think that the team surrounding him is better than the team surrounding Ben. But for Ben's experience and Ben's surprisingly more talent than somebody this season, I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one.
What a great idea for the NFL to nationally televise a game between Geno Smith and a potato. Fans are going to get a treat this week. Oh, man. I'm just not that, man.
Who can throw farther, Geno Smith or literal potato?
I'm going to go with a literal potato.
I think it comes down to which team is more talented around them, which is the Steelers, in my opinion. It's going to be an ugly game to watch. I think this is actually a contender for worst game of the season. And, of course, it's not worst game of the week, and it's on Sunday night. I wouldn't watch this game, but I think the Steelers will win this. I think the Steelers will win this solely because they have more talent.
I agree. This is what I was looking at for the worst game of the weekend, and it is sadly in prime time. Russell Wilson is out. Chris Carson is out. Gerald Everett is out. D. Eskridge is out. I don't know how much that matters to any of you guys. Ethan Pocic on the line, also out. That one is going to be important because Geno Smith needs all the help he can get. I think the Steelers are going to be able to win because they're not as injury-plagued. They have a mashed potato throwing for them, but they also have Najee Harris, who is the
We
next
don't mean
up
any offense by
Henry
this, by the way.
So I think that alone, along with the strong defense that the Steelers employ, will be able to take down Geno Smith and the Seahawks. So give me the Steelers for this one, which I think that's the second time I've picked them this season out of all these weeks. Moving into the last game of the week, we've got, in my opinion, second best team. Sorry, I think the Cardinals are the best team in the league right now. The second best team in the league, which is the Buffalo Bills, and the disappointing Tennessee Titans.
The Bills have 2 shutouts this season, and I think when we looked into this season, we figured the Bills' offense was just going to be overpowering, and they have been, but it's been their defense that have stifled opponents.
Their edge rushers have been top tier.
They've been incredible, and there's right now no real way to stop the Bills. As we speak, the Bills do lead the Kansas City Chiefs 7-3 in the first quarter. Yes, it is. But Josh Allen has 3 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown, just showing his dual threat ability. I think the Bills are the better team in this case. Derrick Henry, any week can explode, but this Bills defense has proved that they are good enough to contain offenses, and I think Derrick Henry will just be another person that he will be a tough challenge and he will have a good game, but it won't be. Derrick Henry cannot match Josh Allen in terms of points scored. That's what it is.
Another stat that's really impressive about Buffalo so far, they are holding Patrick Mahomes to 18 yards on 8 attempts, and he's only completed 2 of those 8 set attempts. So
Mahomes also has 16 rushing yards.
They've done a great job so far, Buffalo, and they've been great defensively all season. I think offensively they've improved every single week. I think Tennessee, I feel like that could be that would be a good game if Tennessee had really kind of been better this year, but I think it could still be a trap game for them, given that I think Tennessee has a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. That being said, I think Buffalo is just too well-rounded for Tennessee. I think last year Tennessee did beat Buffalo, but that was a much better team, a much better Titans team, and I don't think that team is nearly as good. I think Buffalo is actually improved, and they're kind of set to kind of fix what they didn't win last year and win the AFC, go to the Super Bowl. I think Tennessee is just another obstacle and path for Buffalo. Give me the Bills.
You see, usually obstacles don't have a huge braid and are able to run for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns on you.
That's true.
In this case, I don't think it matters, though. I think that the Bills are going to be able to beat the Titans with minimal fuss. If it has to be that way, and Derrick Henry has to go crazy against them, so be it. The Bills are more than capable of putting up 45 points against one of the worst defenses in the AFC. So I think regardless of how well Derrick Henry plays, and I'm not saying that he himself cannot put up 30 points because I don't doubt his abilities, but I think the Bills will be able to blow them out or contain Derrick Henry offensively.
You should never doubt
as much
Derrick
sense
Henry.
as that makes. But either way, that is the end of our Week 6 prediction video. Charlie, you want to take it away?
Yeah, you guys know the rules. If you head down below and put 3 predictions for this week, try to pick some interesting ones. The boring ones like the Rams they're not really proving you're a real analyst. So if you go down below and you can put as many games as you want, but keep track of your record. Let us know how you've done so far this season. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Charlie Nadell, it's Suraj Kadali and Dylan Shalom, and we'll see you guys next week.